Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy. She said, were you intimate with Tory Lanez? And she said, what? And then it was like, no. And I was like, she lying. At that point, I knew she's lying. It wouldn't be no reason for me to be around each other.
You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Rock Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
Y'all, 50 Cent just pulled up with receipts showing how Jay-Z is allegedly behind Tory Lanez's suspicious stabbing in prison. And it looks like there's a whole lot of conspiracy going on here. In case you missed it, Tory got stabbed 14 times in prison a couple of days ago, and he was lucky to make it out alive. At first, we thought it was just a jailhouse altercation that got out of hand. But according to 50 Cent, Jay-Z allegedly put the hit on Tory. And if you're wondering why Jay-Z would do that, it's allegedly to protect Megan and her reputation. See, new evidence just came out that kind of proves that Tory did not shoot Megan and that he might have been convicted unfairly. Y'all, this drama is about to blow up all over again, so let's get into it. At this point, the Megan and Tory situation feels like a never-ending roller coaster. Every time it starts to quiet down, something even crazier pops off. And now Tory getting stabbed, that might just take this whole mess to a new level. It's giving drama that refuses to die. Like, how is this still unfolding? But according to reports, Tory suffered a prison yard stabbing so bad he needs hospital treatment. Tory was in the yard of California Correctional Institution at Tehachapi Monday morning when another inmate stabbed him. According to multiple sources, including one in law enforcement, it's unclear what the motive was for the attack, but one source tells us Tory was rushed by ambulance to a nearby civilian hospital in Bakersfield. The reports went on to say that Tory was attacked at a housing unit in California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi at about 7:20 a.m. Staff immediately gave him medical aid and called 911, and he was taken into an outside hospital. Then Tory's IG released a statement that said Tory was stabbed 17 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed and he was placed on a breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own. Despite being in pain, he is talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wants to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. When news of this broke, a lot of people didn't feel bad for Tory because they felt like it was his karma for shooting Thee Stallion in the foot. This person tweeted, "People feeling sorry for Tory Lanez is so funny. Just know that him being stabbed does not compare to him shooting Megan. She could have lost her life that night. Had the bullet went anywhere else, I don't feel bad at all for that creature." Well, according to 50 Cent, this was not just a random jailhouse fight that got messy, because let him tell it, it was a targeted hit. See, the man who stabbed Tory is a really bad guy who was in prison for one of the worst things you can imagine. And according to reports, the inmate who allegedly stabbed Tory Lanez in prison last week has been identified as Santino Cassio and is already serving life in prison with the possibility of parole. Cassio, 42, is being investigated for allegedly attacking the rapper at a housing unit in the California Correctional Institution, Tehachapi. Cassio's rap sheet is a mile long and dates back to 2004 when he was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, personal use of a dangerous or deadly weapon, and inflicting great bodily injury. Well, given his past of being a criminal and having a long time ahead of him in prison, it probably wouldn't take much for him to be incentivized to unalive someone in prison. Luckily for Tory, the hit was botched, and even though he was badly hurt, he survived. But why on earth would Jay-Z want to take Tory out? After all, the case is over. Tory's appeal was denied and the case is done. So why on earth was all this necessary? Well, allegedly, he's trying to protect Megan because something new just popped up that might put the whole case in jeopardy and humiliate Megan all over again. Remember how on the night of the incident there were multiple people in the car? We had Tory, Megan, Megan's bestie Kelsey, and a bodyguard. Well, during the trial, the bodyguard conveniently went missing and was unable to give his testimony. But it looks like his conscience finally got the better of him and he stepped out to claim that Tory never shot Megan because Kelsey did it. According to TMZ, Tory's lawyers claim that a bodyguard by the name of Bradley James James overheard Kelsey admitting to actually firing the gun that shot Megan. James allegedly heard Kelsey say she fired the gun 3 times, in which Tory grabbed her arm and knocked it down, causing the weapon to fire 2 times more. Interestingly though, during the trial, an eyewitness named Sean Kelly testified that he saw 2 women fighting before being broken up, which aligns with the newly submitted evidence. But that's not all, because multiple people are now speaking out about how unfair the entire trial was to Tory. Gianno Caldwell, a contributor to the New York Post, blamed former LA County DA George Gascon for railroading Tory during the trial and improperly using gun enhancement charges to paint Tory as a menace. Political strategist Diane London echoed the Megan conspiracy claims while comparing Tory's plight to that of the Menendez brothers, who could be on the verge of being released despite admitting to killing their parents. She noted how no forensic evidence was found on the gun that shot Meg and says it was determined there was a 0.001% chance Tory's DNA was on the gun. Well, 50 Cent is now claiming that there is a big conspiracy going on and that Tory's stabbing was not a coincidence. I mean, think about it. What are the odds that there was an attempt on his life only a few hours before some new evidence came out that could exonerate him? Yeah, 50 Cent is not buying it. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that Megan is lying or that she set Tory up. For one, she was walking away from the car when she was shot, so there was no way for her to know that it wasn't Tory who shot her. And given that she was arguing with him before getting out of the car, it's kind of understandable that she would believe that he shot her, especially because she had been besties with Kelsey for so long. Why would she believe her friend would do something like that? Plus, Megan never filed a lawsuit against Tory for shooting at her. The charges actually came from the state, not Megan. And in the days right after the shooting, she didn't even name who shot her. When the police showed up at the scene, she told them she stepped on some broken glass instead. But things took a turn when Tory and his team allegedly started spreading false stories about her. That seemed to be the last straw for Megan. She finally had enough and decided to put him on blast during an Instagram live, telling her side of the story.
So worry about it. Yes, this Tory shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying and shit. Stop lying. Why lie?
Things got out of hand after that, and there were rumors that Jay-Z allegedly stepped in to manipulate the case because he was trying to protect Megan, who was signed to Roc Nation. Tory himself claimed that he was threatened by someone from Roc Nation, who told him to keep quiet and don't speak about the case.
2 days after that, I get a call from Roc Nation that says, yo, we heard you're gonna make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement.
But Tory didn't stay quiet. He denied shooting Megan and offered up his own version of what happened. According to him, things started going left when Kelsey, who he was supposedly seeing at the time, found out he and Megan had been secretly hooking up. And the wild part, Tory claimed that Megan knew all along about his situation with Kelsey. He said that once Kelsey found out she was more mad at Megan than him, that's when everything blew up. A big argument broke out in the car, and from there, things just spiraled until it ended with Megan getting shot. Of course, that story didn't sit right with Megan's fans. Social media went crazy and everybody started taking sides and arguing who was telling the truth. Now, Tory's version completely clashed with what Megan had said, and the whole situation just kept getting messier. He tweeted, "Good D had me messing with 2 best friends and I got caught. That's what I apologize for. It's sick how you spun it though." After Megan came out and said Tory was the one who shot her, everything blew up. He got arrested but didn't stay in jail long since he was let out on a $350,000 bail. As a part of the deal, he wasn't allowed to speak at all about the case publicly, and the court made it clear he had to stay far away from Megan. But even before things went to trial, Megan was already catching a ton of heat. People started turning on her fast, calling her a liar, saying she was trying to ruin Tory's career. The backlash wasn't just a few trolls online. It was loud, non-stop, and coming from all directions. Social media was brutal. Some fans switched up on her, and even folks in the industry threw shade. A few artists like Drake even dropped songs suggesting she made the whole thing up. She opened up about this in an interview where she said, "In some kind of way, I became the villain. I don't know if people don't take it seriously because I seem strong. I'm trying every day to get through it and be good. I feel so bad because I don't feel like anybody's taking me seriously, but I don't want them to see me cry. I don't want them to know that I feel like this because I don't want them to feel like, oh, I got you, oh, I'm breaking you." She also revealed that she wanted Tory to be punished, saying, "I want him to go to jail. I want him to go under the jail act." But by the time the trial finally started in December 2022, things were already a complete mess. Even though it wasn't televised, the drama still felt like something straight out of a soap opera. Tory's legal team came at Megan with everything they had. They weren't exactly playing fair. Her personal life was picked apart in court, and even without cameras, details were leaking left and right, so the public still got front row seat to all the chaos. Tory's defense strategy seemed less about proving his innocence and more about tearing Megan down. They pushed this idea that she was jealous or whatever was going on between him and Kelsey, and they tried to twist the story to make her look like the aggressor. They even went so far as to throw around claims about her being with multiple men in the industry, clearly trying to shame her and damage her reputation. And Tory's team kept pushing hard and brought Kelsey in as a major witness, hoping her testimony would back up their side. But Kelsey and Megan used to be super close, but everything fell apart after the shooting. So when Kelsey got on the stand, she shared some pretty surprising info. She said that Kylie Jenner had only invited her and Megan to that party, and it was actually Megan who had invited Tory along.
We had to come kill the streets for 5 minutes. You said what?
I gotta turn down the music, the PD just came right
Okay. Tory, don't get my phone wet.
Well, needless to say, Tory was eventually found guilty, and that's when they really dragged Jay-Z into the case, accusing him of bribing the jury. Tory's dad, who had been vocal throughout the entire ordeal, went on a passionate rant outside the courthouse, accusing Jay-Z and Roc Nation of using their influence to sway the legal process. He took things a step further, alleging that Jay-Z was directly involved in getting Tory convicted, claiming that Jay-Z had had a hand in ensuring Tory's guilty verdict.
I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it. The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Taw and Alex Bott.
They met on Saturday before. They
They
met
met with our witness.
Well, Tory's dad did not hold back either. He went on to accuse Jay-Z of buying off his witness, Sean Kelly. He said that after Sean met with some people from Roc Nation, he started to act totally different. And Sean had originally given testimony that seemed to help Tory, but then this attitude shifted, and Tory's dad thinks he was either influenced or straight up paid off. And it was pretty bold of a claim and added even more drama to the situation. And Tory's side was basically saying there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than anybody realizes, like Jay-Z and Roc Nation messing with the case behind closed doors. And that just made the whole thing feel even more complicated and intense.
The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Taw and Alex Bott.
They met on Saturday before. They met on
They
Saturday.
met with our witness.
Well, Tory ended up getting sentenced to 10 years in prison, but his dad just wouldn't let it go. He's convinced that Jay-Z has been behind all of this from the start, pulling the strings behind the scenes. And according to him, Jay-Z's main goal was to protect Thee Stallion, who's signed to Roc Nation and is a huge moneymaker for Jay-Z. Tory's dad thinks Jay-Z's moves are all about looking out for his investment in her career. There's also the fact that Jay-Z tried really hard to sign Tory before, but Tory turned him down, famously saying that he would never sell his soul. If you know how the music business works, you can probably read between the lines there. Tory's dad believes that Jay-Z took that rejection personally, holding a grudge that helped set this whole thing in motion. It looks like 50 Cent believes the same thing too, even hinting that Jay-Z might have gone as far as to try to permanently take Tory out. Now, this isn't the first time that 50 Cent has accused Jay-Z of doing something shady, because he has accused Jay-Z of playing God in the industry. He He said he has a king complex. He thinks he's effing Jesus, you know what I mean? This Jehovah-ish. I'm just watching him. He said something one time I don't like, those little things, subliminal things. For me, that's the punk way to do things. But there's also the fact that Megan currently has a restraining order against Tory. Last year, her lawyers claimed that Tory had been bullying Megan from prison, saying, "Indeed, Mr. Peterson continues to harass, bully, and antagonize Miss Pete from prison by and through his use of third-party online bloggers, who Mr. Peterson employs to spread defamatory statements about Miss Pete. For example, one blogger, Elizabeth Milagro Cooper, has published several false statements about Miss Pete and the criminal trial. Miss Cooper's false statements are the subject of a civil lawsuit, Megan Pete versus Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, pending before the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida." It then said, as detailed in the amended complaint, Ms. Cooper serves as Mr. Peterson's puppet and mouthpiece. Mr. Peterson has publicly confessed that Milagro Grams is the realist. A true and correct copy of Mr. Peterson's tweet is attached here too as Exhibit 2. Indeed, even a former close friend of Ms. Cooper's, King Noir, admitted that Ms. Cooper worked alongside Mr. Peterson to smear Miss Pete's reputation. A true and correct copy of the article discussing King Noir and his comments is attached here too as Exhibit 3. King Noir also affirmed that Miss Cooper has disdain for Megan and that she talks to Tory's daddy in an effort to leak information to the press that comes directly from Mr. Peterson. Y'all, given that there's a possibility of this case going back to court, it's going to be interesting to see how the restraining order is going to play out when Tory and Megan have to go back to court. In the meantime, drop your thoughts and comments below and then check out this next video.